Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Adam with ND72. So today we're out with the ML55. So if some of you guys remember, this is my ML55 AMG. I made a few videos of it. I've always liked the ML, the W163 chassis. I had a 430 over there, which I did more or less the same kind of things I did to this car, but now the 55 is an AMG, which was a lot cooler and a lot more power. So what we kind of did on this car, we lifted it in a few videos with basically the rear blocks. Those little blocks, we did that in the rear, and then we indexed the torsion bars just a little bit, and then we manipulated the torsion by basically going up and down with the bolt to kind of raise it up. And I put on some kind of mud tires, nothing really too big. They're roughly 31s. And then I got rid of the front bumpers, as you could kind of see, maybe not in this view, but I'll show you around the car. And we did a couple other things like that. We also upgraded the shocks to basically the $30, Toyota 4Runner 96, 97, 98 rear shocks, but you put them on the front, and they give you a lot more travel, and they're a lot better shock. So those lasted for roughly a year and change. So what we're going to do today, we're going to do a little bit of maintenance on the car, just a little bit oil change, transmission fluid, just little stuff like that. But then the big thing is what I got right here. I got some upgraded Rancho 9000 adjustable shocks. So these we're going to pull off. These should be a big upgrade from what I already have on the car. These are also for a, I think, 97, 98 Toyota 4Runner. You get the rears. I'm going to show you how these basically bolt right up with medium amount of modifications. All we have to do is just change over that little piece I bought from the other one over here. So these should be a big upgrade, and I need them anyways because there's something wrong with these shocks. I'm going to show you right now. So I've had these shocks on for like right over a year like I showed you. You can definitely see how it's like wearing over there, and I keep hearing this noise, which is really effing annoying, and the other one over here doesn't do it. Let me try to get my other hand in there. This one is pretty solid, so there's definitely something broken in there. These shocks were just like a temporary test fit, make sure it all works, and they all work. They bolt right up, and I think they're pretty worn out right now just because they're not fully meant for this car. So these new Rancho ones will be a big upgrade. All right, so we got the wheel off. These shocks are pretty effing easy to take off. This is a 13 nut up there, and then this is a 21 right there. So just be a little bit careful with your factory ones. If you did any lift, when you take these bolts out, the whole suspension should drop a little bit, so just be a little bit careful. The best way to do it safely is to start from up there and see if the shock actually starts dropping. Then you'll know if it's actually under a lot of tension. But these aftermarket ones should be pretty good and clear. And also, as you can see, like these aftermarket ones, even though they were a little bit thicker, they have plenty of clearance over there at full droop. And not bad. So we're going to compare these to like the brand new Rancho ones. So I'm going to start pulling these out. It should be pretty easy, straightforward. Well, just found the first problem. This is the passenger side. And I don't know if you could actually see, but it's pretty blown out. Like, look at that hole. That's supposed to be a circular hole. So that also wasn't helping out. So this whole thing just fell out. And these usually be pretty hard to get in. So that made it a little bit easier because this is the piece I needed out of it to make the adaptation. But yeah, this bushing was blown out. So that also probably was messing up my ride. So good thing we're going with new. These shocks weren't bad for 30 bucks. They did last roughly a year. And I mean, they're still like kind of absorbing shock. Oh, I take that back. That has almost like no rebound. Not even a little bit. Like look at so it absorbs it and then doesn't move at all. So that shock was completely blown and destroyed. Really happy to see this now because it should be a lot longer, as you just saw. Like now you can't even compress it. So this shock was completely trashed. All right. So note to self, these $30 shocks that you get from O'Reilly's to fit this last roughly 1 year. I do medium off-roading with the car, nothing too extreme. But I was hoping to last more than a year. But now we're upgrading to the Ranchos over there, so it should last a lot longer. So let's start getting those all like converted over and go from there. So this is a little piece that you have to take out to convert for your bolts. So I put a lot of effing lube on here, and then they should go in relatively easy. See how it stops right there? So then you just got to give a little bit of push, and it goes in there pretty nice. It's really snug. Definitely spray some lube like I just did. I used just white lithium grease, and it goes there pretty well because if you push it in dry, you could damage the bushing, you risk of it. So that's literally how easy that one is to bolt right up. And then with these, I got to remember because you have to unlock this piston, and it'll make full travel. So let me try to figure out how to do that. So comparing the two, there's a significant difference in cylinder. So with the Ranchos, you are 56 millimeters, And then with these AutoZone O'Reilly Special, you're 47 millimeters. So the cylinder is a little bit different, which means you could have more gas, more fluids, more whatever would actually be in the cylinder. So it would actually stay cooler longer, and it will resist, in my theory, overheating and blowing out a seal. For overall height, for travel, they're basically the same. It's just so right here is where one cylinder stops. So that could just be all fluff and all this. So they basically all spec out on that way of it. Just the cylinder's a lot bigger. And if you actually look at this piston right here, this is astronomically thicker than this one. I know I can't really show you, but if you look down in the tube, you could see it. It literally is, it's a big difference. And this one was completely blown out, like not moving at all. And then now for this one, I don't even know what setting I got it on, but I gotta play with those settings and see what they are. But this one has a lot more compression. So we're gonna start bolting these on. It should go right in. Like I showed you, I already did put the little adapter piece in there. So we're gonna spray some lube all there, put it over there, then I'm gonna have to look in the manual to see what setting is what, so I know what to set it for. So as you can see, we gotta first put your little plate over here, which is that you had to cut from the original Mercedes one back in the day that we used. So it sits right in there. You grab your factory Mercedes bolt. And then, if you see the Rancho has so much more, it's basically not compressed. We're going to have to force it up there. I might have to go get a bottle jack or something to get it in there, but we'll see if I can manhandle it. That, I don't know. Oh, yeah. And get your bolt in. Put it on, like, the easiest setting, so it's less fighting for you. And then kind of whiz everything in. And don't use such a big gun. I'm just an idiot right now. We get it snug. We'll tighten everything down once we put a load on it. And then we got to tighten up the nut up top still. Alright, so this is the driver's side. This one actually still kind of functioned. Like it would go up and down, so on and so forth. But it had this. It was all broken up top. And as you can see, let's pull it all the way out. Remember I was trying to show you down there? Look how small the piston is. Also, we're going to show you now, we're going to show you everything that comes in with the new Rancho and everything that you don't really need. Most of it, you don't even use. So in the box, it comes with more stuff. So it comes with a zip tie for the dust shield, a dust shield, series of bushings and stuff. And you're not going to use any of that. So the reason I'm not going to use the dust shield is because it'll get bound up too much. Just how the car is. I'm going to keep them. If I have any issues, then I'll put it on. But this is all you're going to literally use. The shock, the bottom bushing, which is a lot better than the ones that came with the yellow one, so hopefully it won't blow out. And then everything else gets transferred from Mercedes. Now to release these, you take, I want to say it's a 17, and you just turn it a little bit, and then this whole piston will start shooting up. Pretty easy to do. I will have to read to see which ones the knobs were. But now we're going to throw this on the driver's side and let the car down. Alright, so we got them all in with the wheels. As you can see, to just go grab the dial, you just go right over there. So from my understanding when I read it, it should be clockwise is to make them harder, and counterclockwise will actually soften them up. So I got them both going all the way to the right. One other thing we're going to do with the car while we're here, since we got these new shocks, I'm going to lift it a little bit more. So I'm just going to go down there with the torsion bars. I'm going to lift the truck in the air. So first I'm going to measure it like this. And I'm going to lift it in the air and tighten down the torsion bars. So also, little word of advice of how I always done it. Whenever you're measuring these, lift your whole truck up, let the whole suspension travel down, and then bring it down. And don't really drive it that much, and measure it from here. And then, because it's definitely going to lower itself when it drives a little bit, but just so you know, like, oh, I want to move it 1 inch or 2 inches. That's how I've always done it. Know of the best way, but we're going to see how tall it is sitting just like this. So we are right at, if you can see in the camera, like 38 3/4 on this side. And it should be more or less identical over here. Where it's going from the ground right here. Yeah, 38 3/4. So we're going to lift the truck up with the lift and all that stuff. And then crank down on that torsion bar. Maybe like 2 full turns, we'll see. And then we'll keep measuring and go from there. So we got our handy dandy 18, and we're going to do 1 full turn on each side. There you go, and then we'll lower it and see. So that full turn got us to like right over 39, so I did like a half an inch as a full turn. So we're going to let the truck settle. I'm going to go take it for a test drive, and the whole suspension should basically travel and lower itself. So I've been driving around for about 15 minutes. It's not really, I don't even know how to show you if it's really bumpy that much, but it's not really. We'll go a little off-roading right now. Not really off-roading, but I mean, it's running pretty smooth. Like, I'm kind of like slamming into bumps. You're not really hearing any crap or anything. I mean, even it just felt that dip was pretty good. Like, I don't really, it feels really nice. I don't know if you can even see this. Is a pretty big slam right here. Went pretty smooth. This is another pretty big drop. Shocks are handling it pretty well. Nothing crazy. We'll head back to the house. Like, this definitely, oh, they feel so much better right now. And we'll give it a little bit of the beans. So we'll pull back in, we'll check everything out, but we definitely saw enough of the, or felt enough of the travel, and it feels night and day difference with these shocks. I will be playing with the adjustment a little bit, but we'll go down this big dump. This is a pretty big dip right there. You can tell it basically drops all over there, but I just got all grass on mine. Not bad. Let's pull it in and we'll kind of check the front end out a little bit, see if we see anything crazy. All right, so we've been driving around for about roughly a week. I've been messing around with the adjustments down there. They're pretty easy to adjust on the fly. As you can see, I literally could just crawl right under here and turn the knob. I have it on the highest setting, like number 9. And as you can see, like, it's a little bit stiff, but I think it rides pretty good for what I have it on. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna show you, we're gonna go a little bit off-roading and hopefully I don't get stuck, and we're gonna see how these shocks react, kind of going on a big dip. All right, so we got this little area by my house that's kind of like a mini off-road area. It's just something I go for fun. So we're gonna show you it, and we're gonna see if we get stuck over here, because we're gonna go down a pretty big dip. So as you can see, like, these shocks it's making it pretty buttery smooth, and we're hitting, there's some pretty logs over here. So as you see up here, we're gonna try to go down this incline. So if you could see, if you could pull out the window, it's basically mud, and it drops and then comes right up. So we're gonna try to go through it and see what happens. Try it this way. So as you see, that bump has a lot of things going on about it. So we're going to slow the video down and kind of go over every little thing about it to see how those shocks reacted. So as you see, we're just kind of like dipping in, we're dipping in, nothing too crazy. And right here is where you can see the shock is basically fully compressed. And now we're going, and then right there you can see it even more compressed. So we're not hitting the body yet, the shock is doing its job. And then right there, look it, we kind of caught some air, and it's looking pretty good. And then the truck easily pulls right out of all this stuff with ease. And I just go zoom through. So as you see, we got some mud on the tires. It was a little wet over there, but the car basically digged up and got right out. The shocks worked perfect. That was probably the smoothest I've ever done that little dip, and I've done it a few times. And as you see, like, I didn't even need to slam into it. I was able to roll into it, dead stop, and then pull myself out. And it worked really good. I'm super happy with these shocks. We'll see how long they last. My last ones lasted a year, and they were, like, by far crappier than this was from the start. So super happy. Big thanks to, basically, Rancho, who's making it. And a big thanks to, I forget his name, but I'll put a link down below who actually I found out through him. And hope you guys like it. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We're going to be doing a little bit more with the ML, not too much. We most likely are going to get some bigger tires soon, maybe lift it a little bit more, and maybe a paint job, a winch, stuff like that. But hope you guys like it. Remember to like and subscribe. This is Adam with ND72, and I'll catch you guys later.
Ah.